Hello, everybody. You're listening to The Survivor Bros, an all-new podcast from two reality TV podcasting veterans. I'm your host and survivor Chad, Fox Van Allen, and joining me today is a man committing to the bit of being a professional podcaster. It's Mr. Lance Cartelli. Hello, Lance.
Hey, Fox. Always have to commit to the bit, or what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. If you just got to sell your lie, right?
I've never lied, but if I did, I would.
Yeah, that there in itself is a lie. And there are plenty of lies on Survivor this week. But our main headline, I guess, is a history-making tribal council that apparently went on so much longer than what is shown on TV. Cedric's decision that he made apparently took like 2 hours of back and forth, according to some of the exit press. I think we got to start right there at this tribal council, because this tribal council is confusing as hell, right, Lance?
I'm still confused. I do think in the end, Survivor actually got it wrong. We can, dig into that. I do think Cedric should have been the one who got sent home out of all this. I think because of all the ties that Sai should have been safe, Pizza Man should have been safe, Justin should have been safe because of the ties, and Cedric should have been, with Mary already being safe from the shot in the dark. I think Cedric should have been the one who was sent home out of all this. So all the hours of going back and forth that was cut out could have really been nipped in the bud.
Yeah, we really have to break out the Survivor rule book on this one, because it's kind of an unprecedented scenario. Just because I guess the modern era of Survivor puts in so many different twists where you can lose your vote, and we go into a 4-person tribal council where one person off the bat can't vote, Pizza Shirt, and though he's lied to everybody and told them that he is going to vote. And then we have Mary, who gives up her ability to vote to take that 1 in 6 shot of the dark, which turns out actually spectacularly well for her. She comes up with a lucky roll of the dice there, and is safe, which really just leaves Sai and Cedric to be, voted for once we get into the revote. And I really don't know what's going through Cedric's mind here with this whole vote, because he makes this flip on Sai, and he makes it when there are only 2 people voting. So she goes one direction, he votes for her, and then we have a revote that I don't even think we should have had, because it didn't matter, right? And then we just go to Cedric being the sole decider here.
Couldn't have gone to a worse person too. It was just Cedric has proven himself to. Someone said it in the actual broadcast that he didn't have the most strategic mind, and that is 100% evident throughout this. He has voted for every single tribe member on his own tribe, and he did multiple people in this one. Like, how you can change your vote from Sai to Justin. Obviously we didn't hear the 2 hours of back and forth, but it's just crazy. You've already burnt this bridge. Yeah, and the fact that he asked Sai and Mary to pretty much team up against him, although we do know tribe swap's coming, but potentially try to team up against him is just the worst thing you could do. It was utter madness. I'm so confused by everything, but what a dumb move.
Yeah, I was. I guess the next question I was going to ask you is, what do you thought of the move? But apparently, you gave it to me pretty clear, and I gotta agree. You can't snake someone and then unsnake someone at the same tribal council.
Especially one of the most petty survivors we've seen in recent memory now. Sai is not going to forget who voted for her, and I don't know if she'll end up teaming up with Mary or anything, obviously because of the tribe swap, but you just have to know who you're voting against. And once she did that, he burned every single bridge with her.
Yeah, and this is definitely, she's shown in the past that, once someone has come at her, she never forgets it, right? And she's never going to forget this. And now she's got to work with Mary, who we spent an entire episode being explained why they can't work with each other. Though despite that, I got to say that they do look like they were having a lot of fun together.
Focus and keep our eye, and she's running. Go, 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 go!
they respect each other so much. I think they would actually work together. I know they said they can't, but like now that they have a common enemy, and I think Mary will do whatever she can to survive. But Mary, who I have liked throughout, like even when she didn't have a vote, and like 2 episodes ago when we were talking about it, she was my winner pick. I think she has really dug herself out of this grave, and she, you know, depending on how this tribe swap goes, she might be in actually a decent position, and has like a really nice story going along. And I think she's a really fun character. But I loved the dynamic between her and Sai, just how begrudgingly much they respected each other. Like that's what I love to see.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, we really didn't get much of Mary in the previous couple episodes, but we really get a lot of Mary here, and it's like, where have they been hiding her? This was great. Like she is like having a lot of fun out there. Like she's coming out. Like I love that she, you know, figured out how to play Sai by, you know, just like being pretty chill once we get back from, you know, the challenge. It really sent Sai into like a complete and total tailspin where she almost voted for Pizza Shirt. Apparently.
Yeah, and that's just good. That's good job by her of just reading how people react and stuff. Like, you know that Sai is paranoid, and like you get on her scent and everything. Like you can confuse her, and that's exactly what she did. She played it perfectly. Everyone else, you know, read the room. Like it didn't end up mattering because she played the shot in the dark, but. I just think it was a masterful play for, I mean, really, you know, it's a Hail Mary. Like, you didn't really have much other choice to do that.
Yeah. One thing that really came across, and again, like we said, it's a very long tribal council. It's been edited down from several hours into like, 15 minutes maybe on TV. So, you know, we don't get everything. But I was incredibly unimpressed by Justin, Pizza Shirt. Like, he gave me nothing. Like, his argument to stay was weak. It looked like he was just like maybe it's not eating for 7 days and just like no mental facilities left, but like he just looked like dead behind the eyes.
I was kind of surprised how he even got cast on the show, because he just put up no effort. He pretty, like, I get that they edited it like you mentioned, but he had no argument at all. He was resigned to going home. And from a entertainment perspective, we got the like optimal choice. Like, we got Cedrek, who's just sloppy, and we keep Mary and Sai in the game. Like, this is perfect to me.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's why Probst and all them did it. But you're right. He really brought nothing. He was a snooze fest this whole time, and I'm, you know, not sad to see him go.
Yeah, we really didn't get I presume that he was cast for his Pizza Shirt. I think and finally, the episode where I realize his name is a Pizza Shirt. That's the episode he goes home. All right.
The episode we actually learned his name is when he goes. You know, that's pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's all
Pizza Man. Yeah.
After the pod, let's all get a slice of pizza down at Luigi's. What do you say?
Anything for Luigi. Free Luigi.
This tribal council. It's a mess. It's a very entertaining mess, I guess, but I didn't get necessarily like the best vibes from it. It's like, oh, this is kind of going off the rails a bit because Jeff screwed stuff up with advantages. Like, I really feel like that there's just like, cause like even going into the tribal council before Mary played her vote, it's like, okay, well, you got to keep track of like someone's not voting, and you know, like there was a possibility if Sai didn't figure out the beware advantage, she might not even have voted. So we could have had like a 1-person voting tribal council. We may even have a situation in the future, if this keeps up, where everybody at tribal council is ineligible to vote.
I think they have to, like, they got to calm down with the losing the vote. Like, I get giving people disadvantages, but like the vote is the most important part, and we're just losing too much of it. And like, as much as we're, you know, shitting on Pizza Man right now, he got absolutely screwed. He had to go, and he didn't even have a choice on the excursion, on the journey, when he lost his vote. And then you have like a historic tribal council where someone hits a shot in the dark, another advantage, that screwed him over. Like, he has to be probably the most screwed over Survivor player.
Oh yeah, unluckiest Survivor player perhaps of all time, just based on the odds of, you know, the 1 in 6 shot turning against him, and then the Yahtzee game going badly, and even down to him being picked to go on that journey. Like, that wasn't his choice. So
yeah, that's another one. And like, I just think the journey, they need to step it up. Like, this was such a random game. You didn't even let them choose. Like, I think you should, at the very minimum, let them choose so they can have a choice to lose their vote or not, or get advantage. Yeah. But I also think when we do these journeys, I don't want them separated. I want them to do something. What was it, a couple seasons ago, where one of them had to lie and kind of boast about what they had? Like, we need to put these people up against each other, and especially because that's going to pay dividends when we get to the merge. If some of these people make it to the merge and everything, just having them go on this journey and then separate them for this game that has no dynamics in the actual game, to me is just a swing and a miss.
I think I agree with you, and I'd go as far as to say that this is probably the worst journey that I've ever seen as far as like what happens and what the gameplay is. I think it's incredibly unsatisfying to have, like, of course, like, chance is going to be an aspect of Survivor, right? Like, there's like random draws, and there's a rock draw if there's a tie, like a lot of chance here. But just having this Yahtzee game on TV, like, first of all, it's not good for gameplay, and second of all, it's not even interesting television. Like, who wants to see people roll dice on TV?
Yeah, it was bad. At least have them do it together or up against somebody, and it's like the first one to get 4 gets this, or like something where you're actually against somebody. And then, like I mentioned, you got to let them choose, especially when you have the beware advantage where someone can lose a vote. You have all these other advantages and disadvantages. Losing a vote, I think they just have gone a little too far with it.
Yeah. What do you think about everyone's lies, or I guess in one case truths, about what happened on this excursion? Because I think that's the most interesting part of the journey, is like seeing them come home and try to explain what happened.
It really is.
And we only have one person that tells the truth here.
Yeah, and Pizza Man screws up again. Like, I thought his lie was really confusing, and if he did survive, he kind of saved it. But like, everyone's expecting some kind of advantage the next day, and it's such a short-term move. And then lying about not having a vote obviously bit him in the butt. And allowed like all these mechanics to happen at tribal. So I'm not also pro telling the truth about all these advantages. Like, a lot of these tribes are getting along now because they haven't been to tribal, and once you go to tribal, it gets more cutthroat, and the first person they were going to want to cut is people with the advantages, because they think they're getting along now. But you have to a certain extent, keep things private. Thomas is keeping his advantages private, and like that's the smart way to go.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, as far as Justin, I think the biggest mistake Justin makes isn't necessarily like lying to Sai. I think he should lie to her, because
should have been honest with Cedrek.
Yeah, but he should have. You're right. He should have been honest with Cedrek, because that really gave that really small opening for him to for Cedrek to change his mind in tribal.
When there's so few votes, you really have to be honest with like the one person you're number ones with and everything.
Yeah,
this is why I do prefer bigger tribes. I would really like to see them go back to starting with 2 tribes, but that it does make it more interesting. But yeah, when there's like a 1 vote kind of delta and everything, you really have to be honest with at least one person so they can kind of plan and everything.
Yeah, I gotta say that his like Pizza Shirt's explanation of like red question marks and white question marks and changing your luck and winning shelter and all that, I was like,
it's terrible.
One of the worst stories I've heard. And like, they're all like, oh yeah, let's see if we maybe win something because we got terrible. 4 white question marks. Not the best. I think I liked Bianca's lie a little bit better. She went on the trip. She lost her vote as well. She said it was like some kind of like really complicated like challenge that she just declined to play. And I think that's a great lie. Like, if you really want to hide the fact that you lost your vote, like it keeps it simple. Like, it was a game.
It's a great lie.
Even play it.
It's a great lie, but you have to also think about the future where they're now switching tribes, and someone can go up to somebody, one of the other 2, well, the other person now, since Justin was voted out, and they can totally negate that lie. They can say, we didn't play that game and everything. So I think you do have to go, if you could combine Bianca and Justin's lies, then I think you have the perfect lie, because I think you have to lie about the results but not the game, because when you do that, then you really put yourself in a bad position. But I thought Bianca and Thomas were 2 of my favorite storylines out of this episode, because I really like their dynamic and everything, and they just almost like a sitcom. So really,
yeah. And I want to say that's what are they? The
red tribe.
Lagi, the purple tribe, I believe.
Yeah.
I think that is probably, aside from this dysfunction that's going on with the green tribe who keeps showing up in tribal, I think they're the more interesting tribe. There's a lot of people working with each other and working against each other. You have, Thomas and Bianca are a pair. Obviously, even Joe are a pair. We got Star in there, like stirring things up. I really love, like, they got really great dynamics, like interesting dynamics going on. I don't know that's great for like the future of their tribe once they, get split up. It seems like the red tribe is all like, kumbaya, we're going to work together, we're going to be honest about everything, which I think like probably bodes well for their ability to like keep working together, moving forward into the pre-merge. I think the purple tribe is going to be very willing to tear itself apart. So
I really wanted to see that tribe go to tribal because it was so kumbaya that they never got to have to cut a throat, and then the game really starts then. And so I do think since that didn't happen, obviously they have a numbers advantage over one tribe, but it would have been fun to see. But they really can stay strong now, and really, and this is where we're not to the merge yet, where the green tribe can kind of go back and forth. But it will be interesting to see how the dynamics shift and where we go. But I do want to see Sai and Mary stay together, and I would love to see Bianca and Thomas stay together in a tribe if we're lucky.
Yeah, I think it would be very interesting to see Mary and Sai have to continue to work together. It's just it's a really fun pairing. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on. I think like one of the takeaways from the season of Survivor is to just, if you're on the show, be careful about throwing out and playing too hard too quickly, throwing out too many names, especially to people that you're not working with. I don't know what Eva was doing. That may be the autism coming to bite her in the butt. But like that was such an ill-advised conversation. And then to throw out some names while you're talking with someone who you don't trust, and you've just explained like doesn't trust you, you don't trust her, like it already, but you're still throwing out names. That's no good.
Yeah, she's already annoying people, so I'm really interested to see if Joe and Eva do stick together.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if that tribe was going to flip on Eva, but we won't be able to see that. But it's going to be really interesting to see if they can stay together, especially if they get split up. But if they don't, that's a strong duo, and they could be a big target for somebody depending how the numbers work out.
Yeah, I think they probably got very lucky there by having this tribe swap come up, and not. Yeah,
I think Eva was the luckiest for sure.
Yeah, she's going to get like kind of back into the shuffle there. I think there's plenty of ways she can go out of the game, but like I think she's in a better position once that tribe gets broken up. And because once you get broken up, then even the people you weren't working with, you kind of want to work with them now because at least you know them. Like it's kind of like funny how Survivor, you can become friends out of necessity, and maybe that's what's going to happen with like Mary and Sai. We'll see.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I think, part of me is like, maybe we should have kept the tribes together just to see, but Green was going to keep losing, so you really got to switch it up right now because it's just a disaster. Like we have the disaster tribe every season now.
That's true, and it's a really good point. And I was reading the Survivor Reddit today, and someone made a really good point. And I've been kind of like, it's been rattling around the back of my head too, but is Survivor too punishing of tribes that lose? Right? Because like we have these challenges where it's both immunity and reward in one. So if you don't win the reward, like you don't win immunity, you're also not getting a reward. So the other tribes that do win are getting stronger. But then there's an added penalty of not even having flint. So you can't make fire. You're not really able to like boil water. You're not able to make food. Like you're not able to stay warm. Like it's just like the game feels designed for one tribe to be the dysfunctional tribe to never win anything.
Yeah, and we're not doing old school Survivor anymore where they focus on the survival part. Yeah. So taking away the fire doesn't really impact us. We don't really see the results from that other than in challenges when they don't have, proper, sustenance and everything. So I'm with you. Like, I don't think taking away fire really affects anything since we don't see it. Like, we honestly, we want to see these people survive and, give them the bare minimum, but like, we get better gameplay when they're well fed and their minds are working at almost full capacity and everything. Yeah. So if they're not going to focus on that, might as well, give them a little more than the bare minimum and everything.
Yeah. I think the way, maybe the way I'd suggest Jeff do it in future seasons is if you have you have your marooning challenge, the day one challenge, the tribe that wins that, sure, give them the flint, give them like extra stuff. But then once the first tribe loses a tribal council, like that's when you should give them the flint instead of taking it away. You know what I mean? Like, just give them like, it's like the misery. I feel like it doesn't add anything to the game in season 48.
Yeah, I also think they just got to do a better job of, they put so much thought process into who they cast and who's in each tribe. Like, if you just looked at the 3 tribes, like, you could tell the green tribe was not going to do well this season. Yeah. And I think they got to do a better job of just balancing that, unless they really want one bad tribe every season. I can't imagine that's what they want. So I think the producers probably have to do a little bit better job of balancing it out a little more. Like, you would know that the red tribe or whatever was a strong tribe just by looking at them.
Oh yeah, and it's both the red tribe and the purple tribe. I mean, they're just stacked, right? Because you got Joe, who, like, at the challenge, like, the only interesting thing about the challenge is how when it started, he blindfolds, like, just books it to the first like location.
He's obviously like a an athletic guy and everything. Yeah. Eva's a former athlete, and like all these, like, Shahid is really strong. Like, they have
he's amazing. Did you see him, like not this episode, but like the previous episode where he was swimming through the water? Like, he is amazing as a competitor.
Yeah, and the Green Tribe just didn't really have anybody. Like, I don't know what they were thinking when they put that together, unless they really just wanted that tribe to be bad. And I can't imagine that's what they. I mean, we had it for so long, so maybe that's what they want to do with a 3-tribe survivor.
Well, I mean, they called it out at the day one that it looks like David versus Goliath again. And it turns out
good season.
Yeah, one team has been eaten live.
Yeah. I do like when we start the, obviously the very first episode when they come out on the boat. I really like that, but I also like when they start on a boat where they have to get all their supplies.
Oh, I love that too.
And everything. Yeah. So they should mess with the beginnings again like they used to. Like, it's a little too uniform and everything.
I agree, but I will tell you one thing that does not hold up very well when you are watching past seasons and they start on
throwing chickens in.
It's the chicken thing. Yeah. It's throwing a chicken in the cage in the water, so it like panics and like thinks it's drowning.
I don't think they should give chickens at all, because they just don't have the resources to actually do the eggs. So you got to pretty much kill the chickens. And we're in a time now when you can't really show that on TV, at least on CBS and everything. So just give them eggs if you want them to get eggs.
Survivor doesn't have the budget for eggs, Lance. Come on.
That's true.
Come on.
Maybe they're like $8 in Fiji instead of $9.
Yeah, eggs hard to come by, whether you're on an island or just shopping at your local Ralph's.
That is true.
So yeah, one person that we haven't talked about, and it's kind of like a side moment, but I thought it was very interesting. David, our stunt man.
Your favorite.
Yeah, our stunt man, who is according to Kamilla, a survivor Chad. And then immediately after being declared a Chad, he explains that he lives in a trailer outside his dad's house.
What's your living situation like?
I sleep in a trailer parked in front of my dad's house.
Oh, sick, dude.
Not sick.
You don't like it?
Kyle's like the meme king for this season, because he's got some weird reactions and says some weird stuff. But I'm glad that David even pushed back on that, on the fake, that's cool kind of thing. It's like, no, it's not that cool. Like, you don't have to lie about it.
Yeah, dude, I live in a trailer. It's not cool.
Yeah. But they're doing a good job of, he's, this ripped guy that, is a Chad, but, Chad has some feelings and everything, and Chad's vulnerable and stuff. So they've done a good job of making, us endear to him and everything.
Yeah, it does add on a nice extra layer to him, because in previous episodes, we really just see him talking about being a narcissist. Like, I'm good at this and I want to show the world how good I am at this. And then, this episode, he's living in a van down by the river. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's being very, very open about his shortcomings, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, I prefer people to be open like that. It makes them a lot more interesting. And, I think it's a testament to how tough the entertainment industry is. I'm sure the strikes really hurt him financially and everything. So, and it's tough. Like, they're not shooting a lot of stuff. They're, paring things down. So it's got to be tough for him. I did read that he spent a lot of his money for pilot lessons. And so I think that's what hurt him and everything. So, hopefully he can fly, on Southwest now that they're not charging for check, or now they are charging for check bags and everything.
Yeah, he's not necessarily, it sounds like, in a great place in life right now, but it seems like he's doing an awful lot to try and change that. And I think that's great. Like it's a
But I hate to break it to him, $1 million on Survivor isn't going to, supply for the rest of your life, especially if you want kids. So, but
probably not. But if you're living in a trailer, having the million sure wouldn't hurt. A lot of people have raised more kids on less.
Yeah. And now that, there might not be an IRS by the time he wins, like, you might not have to pay taxes on it.
External Revenue Service. They're gonna. Yeah. It's still revenue out there. It's Fiji revenue, so it may be taxed. There's a tariff on Survivor winnings. Getting very political here now. Let's swerve back into Survivor here and kind of wrap things up here. So we've got a tribe swap that's coming up. We're going to mix things up a little bit. Just where do you think we are in the game? Like, who's looking good moving forward here? Like, do these three misfits stand a chance?
It's hard to say because we just haven't seen where these tribes end up, and we haven't seen two of them go to tribal council. So, like, I would say everyone other than like Star is in like a good spot on those two tribes.
Yeah.
So I think Star coming up, especially because if she moves beaches, she might not have a vote and be able to solve her cryptogram and everything. So she could be in really bad shape.
That's really good.
She might be the next one to go home.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I was thinking about that earlier today. It's like, what the hell happens if she has to move beaches and hasn't figured that out yet? I think the one thing I was thinking is that, I mean, there's some kind of like they're different puzzles, but they're the same puzzle. Like, it's all the word listen, but like various scramblings of that. So like maybe you can still get the letters with your clue no matter what beach you're on. But that's a great question. I would love to find that out.
Yeah, and you kind of hope Thomas goes with her because Thomas wants to use that power and everything. So we'll see. Like, I can't imagine that she just wouldn't have a vote, indefinitely and everything. So I'm sure there's going to be some kind of conclusion to that. But I think she's in trouble. And then I just think Sai just is so, confrontational that I think I can't see her going super far unless someone takes it with her knowing that she can't win. But I think Mary, I don't know. There's just something about Mary. And I just think she's in a good spot. But I really like where Thomas is at. I think Thomas Bianca duo is really fun. So there's a lot of people in good position. I think Camilla's in a really good spot. So we just, we need to see them at tribal before I can really make a better judgment call on that. But I do think Star is in big trouble.
Yeah, I think historically here, if you look at like past Survivor seasons that have had a similar beginning where you have one tribe that gets absolutely decimated out of three. Like looking back, like even at like Survivor was the Philippines, where that Malcolm's tribe just was just totally hapless, and the Matt Singh tribe, I think they were right. Carolyn and Yam Yam, like they were all in the same like can't win a game, can't win a challenge to save their life at the beginning. It suggests that these three might actually be able to go very far. And we have a little bit maybe of evidence that when Kamilla brought back her extra vote to the rest of the tribe, they said they were going to use it against Lagi, which is, the two 6-person tribes look like they might be targeting each other soon.
Yeah, you feel like they have to go against each other, and, the Green tribe is going to be a minority wherever they go.
Yeah.
Unless all three stick together, which I really can't imagine, and then they might have a majority. But, then I think you'll get the storyline of if there's one or two, it's like, all right, we take off, they're the easy vote out. Like, say it's Mary's the easy vote out. But then if it's 3-2 or 2-2 or whatever, like, they're going to try to team up and take out, because it's just really, it's a numbers game. So I think they're going to be used. And if you play it right, this is where the pendulum goes back and forth. You just play that middle. And if those 3 or 2 of them can survive, especially make it to the merge, you just bounce back and forth between everybody, unless somebody, decides to, unless Save really pisses somebody off enough and everything. But I think if you really have to play that middle game. If you do it right, you can go pretty far. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it turns out. But I want to say,
who do you think goes home next?
Who do I think goes home next? I mean, it's just so up to chance and how these tribal things go on. I think it depends on which tribe has an advantage, going into the vote. But I could see it.
Show some onions. Let's hear it.
I could see it. All right, so let's narrow it down to the tribe. I think we're looking at maybe a purple tribe member going home here. Unless there's they're in the majority on whatever tribe goes to tribal. And I think that we might see a good time to pull the trigger on that Ava thing. If that happens, I could see her going home. I think she's probably the best option there. It might come around to someone I don't know. It could come to a Thomas and Bianca, or it could even be a Joe if people are worried about taking physical threats into the merge. So there's so many options. I'm going to go with Eva. That's my choice as the most likely next boot. But I will say that there are a lot of people, or a handful of people on the Red Tribe that we have barely even met yet. And that's not a good sign for them.
I was going to say, Chrissy, who's been pretty vocal on Twitter about her screen time, I think she is not long for the game. So I can see her going.
I agree. I think she is in trouble as well, just based on that edit. I think we are going to get her life story in an entire episode, and that is going to be a bad episode for her. That's going to be
you're going to get the flashback to I have 3 kids, and I need to make this for my family, sob story kind of thing, and then.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna see where that season develops. I think we were saying at the first episode, Lance, that this was a slow season. I think it's got a lot more promise now that we are 3 episodes in, and we've actually had time to meet people.
This last episode was really fun. We got a historic tribal, so both episodes have been better than the premiere, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm in.
All right. Well, if you want to be all in on the season of Survivor, the best way to do it is to subscribe to the Survivor Bros podcast, the reality show Bros. We are going to be here all season long talking about Survivor and also other reality TV shows such as Deal or No Deal Island, which I think is very interesting because we have a Survivor contestant on Deal or No Deal Island this season, Parvati. Survivor Great Parvati. Well, that's true. For American viewers, we know Parvati, but there's also the quote-unquote golden god of Australian Survivor, David Jeanette, is also there. And they have played these rookies for fools all season long.
I think I said it before, but it feels like Suri versus the normies in season 1 of The Traders, where they're just, the puppet masters and everything's working their way. It really helps when Parvati was safe, 9 weeks in a row or whatever. Couldn't make double digits, but when it's like that and David is just manipulating everybody, it becomes a lot easier. Like Philip just handing him another safety is just crazy. So I don't understand what most of these people are doing, but this is what happens when you put high-level game players against normies like us.
I mean, it's a comedy of errors all the way through the season when you realize that this is temple number 10 is the first time that Parvati does not have safety, and she's fortunate enough.
And her number one is in charge.
Yeah. So she made through basically the entire game without going to tribal council, right? Which is incredibly impressive because it's not just luck. It's that like I said, every single challenge, these 2 gaming experts play Letty and CK and Philip and the rest of them for fools, and just I don't know, it was so clear that they were in a really good, and when I say they, I mean Philip and Letty and CK, the non-Parvati, the non family team, right? Yeah. They seem like they could be in a really good position here, especially like at this challenge when Parvati and CK both go after this case and it gets cut in half, which puts them in a vulnerable spot, puts Parvati in a vulnerable spot. And like, I think the right move for Philip here, obviously, I mean, 75 grand's on the line, but it's to, no matter what David does, take that $2.75 million case. Even if you're splitting it with him, that puts him on the bottom. He's not going to necessarily want to be on the bottom. And if Letty's at the top, like, it sucks. You're going to have to play the banker, but it's a lot better of a situation than what happened at the end of this episode anyway, with him just flat out getting sent home by David.
Yeah, they could have really just changed the game, and instead you're now letting them pretty much cakewalk to the final. I just thought it was a really short-sighted move for Philip, and just a lot of these people they got so caught up with the infighting. Like, Letty knew what she needed to do, but she just couldn't pull it off because of all of her terrible alliance members.
Yeah.
And, once Dr. Will left, it was pretty much over for the homewreckers. They could have really rallied together because Dr. Will knows what he's doing. And the thing that's so obvious is the family is such an obvious thing. They even call themselves that. It's an alliance. So you got to do whatever you can to take it out. And they just never could. And now they keep letting them be in these power situations. But we are set up for a really interesting next episode because of those decisions of those in power, which I'm really interested in seeing.
Yeah, I think we could very much. We could very much see Parvati going home after this next episode. It could happen. It just depends on what I would presume that if you're David, you would want to have Parvati be the one who plays the banker.
You have to. You have to.
The best odds.
Well, he knows he eventually has to cut her. And you give her, you don't burn a bridge. And if she goes home, she goes home. You're pretty much okay with that. And if she stays, you have somebody protecting you. Eventually you think you have to cut her. But I think it's a win-win scenario for David. Yeah. And if you're Parvati, you have to play. If you don't play and that person gets a good deal, Parvati's going home. It's 100%. So Parvati should take the power into her own hands. We saw what happens when you don't, Dr. Will.
Yeah.
And, that's what happens.
Yeah, CK has proven herself to be pretty untrustworthy here, working both sides to the point where both sides are very aware that she is working both sides. They both talked about it. But somehow it's being this like unreliable, untrustworthy person might actually be helping her out a little bit here, because no one's going to send her to face that banker again for sure, because you don't know what she's going to do. She's not a physical threat, and she's not really someone you're worried about competing against at the end necessarily. It's really about what she might do if she's facing the banker, and she's not going to face the banker, so she just kind of slinks back into the shadows.
Yeah, I think we said this a couple episodes ago when we were covering it, that once she started spiraling out of control, she's the goat you take to the end because of all of those reasons, and she's not a physical threat. She's only really good when it comes to the mathematics side on the deal stuff, and that's basic math, so it's not like that gives her a huge advantage or anything. So yeah, I think if you're David and Parvati, you want to take these people that you can beat in these physical challenges, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and so it makes a lot of sense here to get rid of Philip, but of course that's going to stir up a lot of drama, not necessarily shown on TV, but there's going to be some hurt feelings after what happened there, because it seemed like Philip, for some reason, actually trusted David here.
Philip was naive, and he even mentioned that he didn't like being around all the snakes and stuff. Don't go on fucking reality TV. If you are not going to want to be around these kind of people. So I'm not sad to see him go. He was entertaining, especially the Harriet Tubman line, and when he gets defensive, he's great. He's really good, which is funny because he's saying he doesn't want to be associated with that kind of stuff. But, that's what this is. So, adios.
I will say, though, 75 grand is a pretty good buyout offer. I would not be too unhappy if I went home in an episode I won $75,000.
I think
that's more than most people are going to get.
Yeah, I think he realized that he wasn't going to win. And so you take the consolation prize, but still, it's what, 45 grand after taxes and everything?
He's not. The only reason why he wasn't going to win is because he made that dumb move. I feel like if he just threw away, I know it's tough to do when that's so much money, but like we're talking about a final case that's going to have, probably more than $10 million after this next playing of Deal or No Deal. That's a lot more money than 75 grand,
You have to risk it, no biscuit. You have to go for it. And he made just a very short-sighted move that obviously helped. Like, you can't tell you have 1 in 6 chance, but I mean, when there's that much money on the line, you have to risk the zero or just your parents' fee or whatever you got to go out there.
Yeah, unfortunate that it kind of sinks his game, and it really puts his good friend Letty's game in extreme jeopardy here, because she is a very likely target person who could go out here, just on the basis of being physical and a very strong competitor.
What's crazy is we had this double elimination, and if Philip and Letty played it right, you get rid of the family completely, and you now set yourself up to win.
Yeah.
And now the opposite, where now David and Parvati are in the ideal situation where if Philip and Letty are gone, or whoever it is, like they're getting rid of 2 people that are not on their side.
Yep. You would have, exactly. If he just lets go of that money right into the fire, then we probably lose David immediately, without even coming a chance. And then, Philip's got to play, the banker, but
in an ideal
he's not going to send home Letty, and he could send home Parvati.
Exactly.
For that team, it's the best scenario. Yeah. But $75,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and if you do that, worst comes worst, you at least get rid of one of them, and you set yourself up. Like, obviously, best case scenario is you get rid of 2, but you at least get one of them, and now you got none, and it's looking like it's going to be a David or Parvati win.
Yeah, almost certainly. I mean, they just are compare them to CK. Like, if she is who they're going to go up against, it's
like watching a bad ending of Big Brother, where they have the 2 or the 3 head of households, and you just know this third person is never going to win, and they're the one out, and so it's kind of just just fast forward to the end for us now.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like Nicole when she went up again?
There you go.
And that was a grim final scenario that we covered live.
There's been some bad ones.
Back in the day. Did. Yeah, not the show's proudest moments, but I sure enjoyed being in the backyard for it. That was fun.
That was cool. Other than the plywood really got my back hurting and stuff, but at least we interviewed some really great people.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really good time in the backyard, but then again, I wasn't the one who disparaged minorities on TV. So
that's true. Not yet.
Anyway, back to Deal or No Deal Island here. I gotta say, overall, I really enjoyed this challenge. It's very Survivor, literally from Survivor, right down to holding a portion of your body weight.
I do think it was taken right out of Survivor. But the one thing we were just talking about on Survivor, how some of these challenges, don't always work. And I thought, for the most part, you look at Traders too, some of those challenges were not good.
Yeah.
Dondi has some really good challenges that really mess with the dynamics of the game and really make you think and everything. So I think they do a good job of building the games. They're not perfect, but compared to a lot of the other challenge type competition shows, they do a really good job that it matters,
Yeah, the challenge is where almost the bulk of the strategy is involved. And it really seems to be a lot of these contestants aren't playing it that way. Which is why you get these bad decisions sometimes. But I do really
I do wonder if Dondi will, keep this route of the Boston Rob, you get Parvati and David, and Dr. Will, or will they go the Traders route? They're both under NBC. Will they just go complete all-star reality show, stars on the next season of Dondi, or will they have a mix of the normies and these superstar reality TV people that are just going to dominate for the most part?
Yeah, I feel like we're probably going to keep getting normies on this one, but I think we're also going to keep getting our ringers. So
they can get. We've mentioned this before. They can get almost anybody they want because there's so much money. Traders, they won $200,000 and that was split 4 ways. This one has the possibility of $10 million, and they probably film around the same amount of time. I think I've listened to Tyson's podcast, and he's like, I'm not doing any reality show unless it's Dondi. So I think those big name people want to go on Dondi because of so much money. So other shows either need to up the price, or you're not going to get some of these big names out of retirement.
Yeah. I feel like I gotta send in my application for this next season of Deal or No Deal Island. I could totally beat Tyson. Maybe not.
Yeah,
but
sure
I can definitely beat the normies. You know what I mean? Like these are not strategic geniuses that are being cast.
Yeah, I'd love to see you on a reality show and see how you screw up and everything. So.
It's kind of the dream, right? To have something to hold over my head for the rest of my life while doing stuff like this. Yeah.
Become a meme.
Yeah, great. It's like I only hope that one day my greatest failure is immortalized on television. So wonderful. We're at the end of this episode here. We got a lot of money here on the line. I'm really excited to see how this thing turns out. I think it's a foregone conclusion. It's probably going to be Parvati or David who wins it. Probably David. Like I feel like he's just going to be most physically capable to do whatever's coming up. Not that we know, but I think he's got the best shot of the winning. Money.
So if Parvati does make a good deal and she stays, I definitely think David's now on prime. I need to cut Parvati because you want to just go up against CK and everything. And you just want to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, I don't think it's gonna. It's really just down to competitions at that point. It sounds like they're gonna do a final 3 kind of competition. It's probably gonna be a final 2. That's sort of what happened last time. Although it started at a final 4, but it's an unestablished show. They're messing around with the formula all the time.
Yeah. So this isn't a Survivor where it's 90% final 3 and everything. So I'm interested to see if they stick with what they did last season, or if I'm guessing they have fine-tuned it a little bit. So we'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the things that makes this game so interesting is that because it's new, that there is not really the ability to know what to expect. So people have to kind of like learn and figure out on the go, which we've seen plenty of times people just not being great at the game because of that. But, people like Parvati and David, they're able to pick it up pretty quickly,
it's not a solved game yet. So, and if they do change stuff enough, we can get some variability and everything, and that's what you want.
Yeah. See, and that's why I got to get on this show now. I got to get on before it's like a solved game, because I'm going to solve it. True. And then it's
you'll be the one to solve it.
Yeah, and then everyone else can copy me, and then we'll be good. Yeah.
And then you'll be on Traders, 12 or whatever, and I'll never see you again.
That would be great. And no, you won't. You can come to one of my fan meet and greets, Lance. I'll sign a headshot for you. How about that?
Perfect. I'll even pay for the ticket.
Great. Perfect. All right. Well, it's at least one. All right. Let's wrap things up here, Lance. We've been going for a while. An absolute pleasure talking with you as always. One last reminder for all our wonderful viewers to please like and subscribe to the reality TV show Bros. And we're going to be experimenting with our content, seeing we've been putting tiny little clips in there. See if have you noticed the clips, Lance? Do you like the clips? Putting in some clips?
I do. Anything with clips, when I watch the Oscars and they don't give me movie clips, I get mad. So this, kind of helped a little bit. So good job. Whoever put that together, you did a great job.
Yeah. How are you supposed to know which of those movies should win the Oscar when you haven't seen any of them? So
that's true.
Yeah.
Even the people in the Academy haven't. So that's what makes it fun.
I'm just here to watch Marvel movies, and they rarely win the Best Picture Oscar.
Don't watch the new Captain America. Oh boy.
Oh, I watched it. It was okay. It was all right. It was,
I like me on Letterboxd. Letterboxd, give it a 1.5.
Okay. Follow Lance on Letterboxd. Follow Reality Show Bros here and on wherever you get your podcasts. Please do that. And until we meet back here next week to talk about Survivor and a almost Deal or No Deal final. Bye, everybody.
Bye.